A shadow rises in the desert. Imagine a world where entire kingdoms trembled at the mention of one name. A world where the fate of Islam in Spain hung by a thread. A world where a lone warrior, forged in the brutal deserts of Africa, would rise to become the most feared ruler of his time. This is the story of Yusuf ibn Tashfin, the Berber warrior who built an empire, crushed his enemies, and changed the course of history forever. But what was the secret to his unstoppable power? How did he defeat the Christian kings of Spain while keeping his own rivals in check? And why was his empire doomed to collapse even before his death? Stay with us until the end, because this story is filled with betrayal, war, ambition, and power struggles that will leave you speechless. Let's begin. A warrior forged in fire before 1061. Deep in the Sahara desert, where the sun scorches the land and only the strongest survive, a young warrior was rising through the ranks. Yusuf ibn Tashfin, a member of the fierce Lamtuna Berber tribe, was no ordinary man. He was trained in the brutal art of desert warfare, where every battle was a fight for survival. He learned the power of discipline, forging a bond of absolute loyalty with his warriors. He embraced Islamic law, not just as a belief, but as a weapon to unite his people. And soon, fate would call upon him to do the impossible. The Almoravid Empire is born, 1061–1086. In the year 1061, Yusuf's uncle and mentor, Abu Bakr ibn Umar, entrusted him with control over Morocco. What happened next shocked everyone. Yusuf ibn Tashfin didn't just govern Morocco, he transformed it into a superpower. His first move? Absolute power. He built the legendary city of Marrakech, a fortress of wealth and military might. He expanded his army, creating an elite fighting force unlike any other in the world. He crushed rebellion after rebellion, proving he was not just a ruler, but a force of nature. And then came the moment that would define his destiny. The call for help from Al-Andalus, 1086. Across the Mediterranean, in the once mighty kingdom of Al-Andalus, disaster was unfolding. The Christian kings of Spain, led by the ruthless Alfonso VI of Leon and Castile, were crushing the weakened Muslim Taifa states, pushing further south, city by city. If nothing was done, Islam in Spain would be wiped out forever. In desperation, the Taifa rulers sent word to Yusuf ibn Tashfin, "Cross the sea, save us, or we will fall." Yusuf answered the call, but he wasn't coming to save kings, he was coming to rule. The legendary Battle of Sagrajas, 1086. Blood on the battlefield. The year is 1086. The place, Sagrajas, near Badajoz. The stakes, everything. If Yusuf won, he would save Al-Andalus and expand his empire. If he lost, the Christian Reconquista would wipe Islam from Spain forever. Yusuf's battle plan. He sent the Taifa forces ahead as bait, making Alfonso believe they were the main threat. As the Christian army charged, Yusuf unleashed his Berber cavalry from the hills, striking like lightning from both flanks. The battlefield turned into a massacre, with the Christians trapped, cut down, and slaughtered. By the end of the day, Alfonso VI barely escaped with his life, his army in ruins. The message was clear: Yusuf ibn Tashfin had arrived, and he was unstoppable. The takeover of Al-Andalus, 1090–1106, the king becomes an emperor. But Yusuf saw the truth. The Taifa rulers, the same ones who had begged him for help, were weak, corrupt, and divided. He had no choice. If Al-Andalus was to survive, he had to take control himself. From 1090 to 1100, Yusuf led a brutal campaign of conquest, toppling Taifa kings one by one. City after city fell to his rule. Granada, seized from the cowardly Taifa ruler who had allied with the Christians. Seville, brought under Almoravid rule after years of internal corruption. Valencia, conquered, ensuring Almoravid dominance in the east. By 1100, the dream of Al-Andalus was no longer in the hands of weak kings. It belonged to Yusuf, but his empire had made powerful enemies. The final years, the coming storm, 1106. By 1106, Yusuf was nearly 100 years old, but his empire had never been stronger. Yet danger was brewing. The Christian kingdoms, humiliated but not defeated, were preparing for revenge. His own people, once united under strict Islamic law, were growing restless under his rule. And even within his own family, whispers of betrayal and division began to spread. On September 2, 1106, Yusuf ibn Tashfin, the conqueror of Spain and ruler of a vast empire, passed away. He left behind a kingdom that stretched from the Sahara to the Ebro River in Spain. But with his death, the cracks in his empire began to widen. Would his successors be strong enough to hold it together? Or was the golden age of the Almoravids doomed to fade into dust? The legacy of Yusuf ibn Tashfin, the savior of Al-Andalus. He delayed the Christian Reconquista by nearly a century. The builder of empires. Marrakesh, the city he founded, remains a cultural gem of Morocco today. The warrior king, his military tactics would inspire generations of leaders after him. But his greatest victory was also his greatest weakness. By removing the corrupt Taifa rulers and uniting Spain under Almoravid rule, he planted the seeds of an empire too vast to control. His story does not end here. The struggle for Spain and North Africa would continue in the hands of new rulers, new warriors, and new conquerors. Who would rise next? Who would take Yusuf's place? Stay tuned as we continue the epic story of the Almoravids and the battle for Al-Andalus. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more epic historical content. What do you think of Yusuf ibn Tashfin? Was he a hero, a conqueror, or something more? Let us know in the comments.